Y'all ready for part 2? I'm ready for part 2. What time is it? Let's get to it!
It's more than a statement, it's a way of life. So ambition, the Miss Jessie talking.
Alright, so those of you guys who don't know, maybe not even a week ago, a couple days ago, I posted part 1 of the 1992 Jonathan Ross Madonna interview. And yeah, we're gonna finish. Alright, let's go.
But before we talk about that, that's part of a much bigger deal you signed with Time Warner, I believe.
Right.
Is it your company, Maverick?
Mm-hmm.
What are the other aspects of the deal, and what do you hope to achieve with that?
Oh, well, first I want to give you my card.
Oh.
I have a card.
I'm afraid I can't.
Just so you don't think it's made up. Don't you have a card?
I've got.
No wonder why Madonna's all bossed up this interview, right? She's coming here, boom. It's just like the announcement of Maverick for the first time publicly. She's like, I got a record label. I'm about to sign some acts, etc. Was she the first woman artist to do that? Or the first artist, period, to have a label to sign other artists? Drop the comments down below. Or was that Prince with Paisley Park? But drop the comments down below. Y'all know better than I do. That sound y'all hear is baby Empress. I'll see her. But yeah, y'all drop the comments down below. Also, somebody I forgot, please forgive me. In the comments, they're like, you know, I wonder how much of this persona here is really like the person Madonna and not the image Madonna. And I thought that was such a fascinating quote. It really just grabbed me like, great question. Will we ever know? I don't think so. Not the Madonna I know. She'll never tell. Anyway, let's go.
One, but not on me. I didn't think you'd be interested.
It's my first business card.
Maverick, is it your first business card?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't put your home number on the back, could you?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to change.
And just watching like a part of the journey, y'all, it is so crazy. Like, literally, a couple of weeks ago, I posted on my Instagram channel. Y'all, make sure y'all follow. I'm trying to get 10,000 subscribers. Yellow letters times close-ups. Originally, it was meant to capture the Dynasty aesthetic of the last episode where you would see a close-up, literally, and the yellow letters hit the screen, right? So you had a lesson, Blake, I hate you. Yellow letters is over with. But anyway, I posted from the interview that we did during the Madonna era, right? It was from 1984. Madonna's talking about now having a record deal, having success, having to worry about like people stealing from her, having to get accounted, and to see her almost like 10 years later as this like, whoa, I'm a businesswoman now. Like, yes, I have my own record company. Like, she's so much more mature, savvy, confident, if you will, in some aspects, right? You see it here. It's just like, wow, mind-boggling. Like, that's the same girl. But again, now she's a woman. All right, let's go.
When I get back to
Oh, well, thanks. That's quite nice. And that's kind of a Greek man and woman...
Working.
Oh, yeah. Working and playing, perhaps.
Yes.
Combining the two.
Mm-hmm.
Working, stretching and playing. So the obvious question, which of course I'm going to ask, is would you like to find another Madonna?
Well, I don't think that's possible.
Good answer and great question as well. I've heard it said before, especially in the rap community, right? Pretty much rappers that get labels just for like money purposes, right? Not saying like money squandering, but perhaps. But anyway, it's like the case of if you're a current artist and you have this artist underneath you, that competitive sides kick in and you don't want to hear people say like, oh, the protege is better than the original. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, basically artists be hating on their own artists sometimes. And so I've heard it said the worst deal you can ever sign is with another artist. All right, but anyway, let's go.
But what I'm trying to find is really, I don't know, fresh talent that's saying something, cutting edge, new. I mean, we found some really good groups. We've signed a couple groups so far, and I'm really excited about them.
Then y'all say Alanis Morissette signed to her with that jagged little peel. Shout out to who took me down that journey. Was it Sandra? Dang it, I can't remember. But I had a jagged little peel, and the first time I heard "You Oughta Know," I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" This is like, it's wild, it's crazy, but it was different. All right, let's go.
This obviously is going to mean more work for you, presumably.
It is already more work for me.
Well, I'm not saying this personally, but some people perhaps would think if they had that much success, if they had that much wealth, maybe one thing they'd want to do is, while they were still young enough to enjoy it all, is maybe take a year off, kick around the world, go fishing, whatever.
But I enjoy what I do. I mean, life is short, and I have lots of things to do, and I see talent out there, and I want to do something with it. I mean, I like planting seeds and watching it grow, you know what I mean? It's inspiring.
And I feel like this is a true statement with Madonna, right? Even though, and this is her, I feel like starting in a band, right? I feel like she had that kind of help mentality, if you will. And we seen it early on, in the mid-'80s with that guy Nick Kamen. She let him sing her song, right? Each time you break my heart. Right? So yeah, I could definitely see her wanting to nurture talent, because I feel like this journey has exposed to me Madonna is a true creative, and to be a true creative, I feel like you have to let others in, if you will.
Do you actually take a holiday though?
What is that? I mean, I always tell people vacations are for people who don't like their job. I like what I do.
I know I love what I do, but I like occasionally to say, that's it, look, it's driving me crazy, I love doing it, it's exciting and stressful, but I just want to put my feet up for a week and get a bit of a suntan and maybe read all those novels. And
I do that from time to time, yeah. I mean, the main thing is to catch up on reading. I love to read, so yeah, I do it.
Well, reading brings us kind of to sex.
It does?
The book as opposed to the experience.
Oh, okay.
Although it's as much a kind of visual picture deal as it is as the writing. So why? Why did I do
the book?
Yeah.
Well, after I wrote Justify My Love, I was approached by several publishing companies for some strange reason to write erotica. Just write it. And it had nothing to do with photographs, illustrations, or anything. And so I was throwing that idea around because I was actually flattered, and I said, well, it seemed like something challenging to do, to actually write a bunch of short stories, erotica.
And these would have been...
Put it like that, right? Like, erotica originally was meant to be like just, or the sex book rather, was meant to be a collection of short stories. Definitely can see Madonna, as we've known her in the past, up until this point in the journey, doing something like that, right? Again, shout out to that Madonna and the Breakfast Club documentary. You taught me so much about like young pre-Faye Madonna. Like she said, like always a reader, always been, I don't want to use, well, I want to use it, intellectual in a sense, right? And again, just artistic. So I can definitely see that being a thing on her.
It's sort of in the vein of Anais Nin, but today, and in my language. So I thought about that for a while, and then Stephen Meisel's photographer, who I work with all the time and who's a very good friend of mine, I've always been bugging him and saying, how come you never did a book? Because Herb Ritts did a book, and Bruce Weber did a book, and Helmut Newton. I mean, everyone's done a book, but Stephen never did. And he said, well, I don't know. And then finally he said, well, I'll do it if you do it with me. So we were trying to come up with ideas for what we would do for the book. And then we thought, well, maybe I would do this thing where I would take on all these different personas and change my hair and my clothes, and kind of in the vein of Cindy Sherman, who I've brought up before to people, where she just totally becomes someone different from picture to picture.
Cindy Sherman, I'd never heard of her, but definitely Google her after this interview. And also, like, this just proves my point, right? Like, Madonna literally bring people in, right? Like, she had to bring Stephen Meisel in to do that with her, but she did. Like, that's cool.
So, ultimately what happened is I combined both of those ideas, erotica and visuals, and that's what it is. It's a book of erotic fantasies, in the words of, as told by Dita Parlo, a character, and she kind of takes on different personas and different characters, and that's it. And there's pictures also. The pictures sometimes go with the text, and sometimes they stand alone, and that's it.
It's dealing with something, obviously it's dealing with sex and sexual fantasies, and that's just that. Did it arouse you to actually do it, or does it arouse you to look at the book now?
Oh, no. I mean, no, not really. I mean, did it arouse me to do it? In the writing sometimes, yes, because when I was writing, I was trying to think of things that I thought were erotic, not necessarily things that I'd experienced firsthand. I don't think I'd have the time to, but...
Well, see, there you go. You could take a holiday.
No, but sometimes the writing would, and what I would do is I would write stuff. I would write short stories and things, and I would give them to my friends to read, and then I'd say, does this turn you on? And then they'd bring it back to me and go, this is really hot, whatever. And I actually got lots of input from all of my friends because it was hard for me, because I couldn't be objective about it. It was more fun than erotic. It was silly. I'm already on to new things in my life, so I mean that goes for my album too. It's you work on something for so long, it's like a movie, and then you.
Dang, so Madonna always like that with her albums, right? We learned that with In the Journey, with like a version, right? By the time Madonna 83 was still climbing, right? We listened to Holiday. Madonna like, oh, I'm so ready for the next album to be put out. It's done. It's caught like a virgin.
It's sort of you have to take a break from it and come back to it.
If we can stay with it for a little bit longer, though, which things, and presumably it changes depending on your mood and whenever, but which parts of the book are you proudest of? Which parts do you like the most?
The writing is what I'm proudest of.
Any particular vignette, short story, fantasy?
Oh, my short stories are my favorite. The short story that takes place in the dressing room of Ralph Lauren is actually my favorite short story. You haven't read it, have you?
Well, I've speed read it.
Oh, you can't do that. You see, I can't...
Well, we were locked in a room. We were given an hour, and I couldn't enjoy it properly.
Well, you have to read the text because it's ultimately, you can understand the book because this text is really funny. And the pictures take on a new meaning when you read the text.
Yeah, they're pretty good on their own, though. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Do you find is it strange talking about, because I'm talking about essentially photographs of you in sexual situations, you in the nude.
Yeah.
Does that, I mean, because it feels mildly strange to me. It's quite a pleasant strangeness, but it feels mildly...
Why is it strange?
Well, because I'm talking to someone I don't know about their physicality,
yeah,
their
but I'm
sexuality.
playing characters. It's theatrical to me.
Ooh, y'all seen that shift? She getting in her mood. She's such a boss right now in this interview, right? Like, I'm loving this Madonna, but yeah, I see right here on this still a hint of sadness. But again, I feel like we've always seen this sadness, this kind of what is it? Insecurity, if you will, throughout the years. And that's why I love Madonna interviews. Like, they're the best for that.
I mean, it's like a movie. Even though if I could do a love scene in a movie and feel nothing for the person I'm actually doing the scene with. That's what acting is. And I played this role, and the movie has an effect on people, but it's not really a life I've actually lived.
But you see, as a consumer, what I read into the book, what I want to read into the book is that, yes, this woman who I've seen for years is aroused. That's part of the appeal, I think, for, maybe it's just me.
And it's because I personalize everything I do, and I think people truly believe that everything I say or sing about or whatever is very personal.
So Madonna's like a rapper in that sense, right? It's like, if she's singing it, she lived it, it gotta be facts. No capping.
So therefore, is it not strange?
I'm a good storyteller.
But is it not strange them realising that myself and the other guys, when they get to see it here, and other people throughout the country will think, yeah, this is, despite the disclaimer in the front, this is fantasy, and we still want to believe it's you, and people are still going to think.
But why do you
this
think
is
that
Madonna.
is? See, I can't be objective. Why do you?
It's the way we are as
believe?
consumers, and it's the way we have access to you. The only way we have access to you is what you present to us. And if you're presenting sexually charged photograph and literature, then we're going to see that. And obviously that is a facet of your personality, but it's something that I desperately want to believe is happening for
Why?
real.
But why?
Because I want to be excited by it. And to be
But when
excited
you-
by it,
but,
I need to think it's you.
Right.
Well, if
I
think
wonder
it's
what
you-
that means.
Well, if I think it's you playing a role,
I love Madonna's ability to always like question the interview, like flip it back on them, because I think that was a great question or response, right? Well, why? Like, why do you want to believe this about me so bad? And I think his answer is pretty interesting. Again, I think his answer is totally different than my answer, right? Because as I said, when we were doing the sex book or the erotica album review, right? Like, I never wanted to see Madonna naked. So the book just did not appeal to me at all.
I think if people think, here's someone pretending to be having a good time, frankly, it's not that
It's not that
interesting.
I'm pretending to have a good time. It's just that, you know, where's the line between fact and fiction? I mean, Martin Scorsese can make a great movie about a bunch of thugs and guys that, you know, kill people for a living, and I'm sure that he understands the essence of that, and he makes those movies the best because it's a life he knows and understands, but I don't think he actually had to go out and kill people to understand it. So, I mean, there's something of myself in everything, but it would be unfair to say that it's exactly me and I lived all of these things. I don't know if maybe it makes people feel safer to know that it was me that actually experienced it. And it doesn't really matter to me because ultimately what's important is that somehow that you are influenced by it, affected by it, that somehow it touches you in some way, and whether you think it's my own personal experience or not is irrelevant to me.
Let me ask you if I can. I'm not going to get bogged down in the specifics of it, but there's one thing that recently was in our newspapers because of a member of Parliament who was indulging in it, which is toe sucking. And I believe the popular usage is shrimping.
Shrimping?
I believe shrimping is the
I
term.
haven't heard that term.
Shrimping, I know them all.
Clever, Jonathan. That was a good way to kind of get the interview back to friendly terms because Madonna was getting heated. Y'all seen that look she had shot him? Like, okay, I'm pissed off about this rock here. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all. So we're going to pause it. We still got like 20 more minutes left of this interview to finish. Y'all hear baby Empress. Like, she's just over here. She's just over here doing her own thing. So I gotta go do mommy stuff like change a pamper or something. But anyway, y'all drop the comments down below. I want to know, of course, y'all thoughts. Any part of this segment that y'all want to talk about, elaborate on. Do what y'all do as the community. Do what y'all do as the community. Yeah, we're ready for it. All right, guys. Hope everybody's out there feeling good, staying safe, and stay tuned for part 3. All right, guys.